All right, guys. So this morning we just gonna do a quick rundown on my main two currency pairs, not currency pairs. Well, one is an index, which is the NAS 100, and one is a commodity, which is gold. All right, so that's the two pairs that I trade primarily. I would say the only two pairs I trade. So today is the 20th of November, 2025. We're just going to do a simple breakdown of what's going on in the market. So let's obviously start on the higher time frames. So I would mainly do top-down analysis, that's starting on the higher time frames, going all the way down to the smaller time frames. So I'm not really going to do like very in detail definitions and what is a higher low, all of that blue, like I kind of expecting most of you all to pretty much know what those stuff are already. All right, so just basic market structure really. So we start in the higher time frame on the 4 hour. We see that price was pushing to the upside here. We have an area of resistance support at the bottom. Price failing to trade lower, meaning that there's a higher probability that price will now be trading higher, which it did. We had a higher low created on the 4 hour time frame, which is obviously very important. That's a massive shift. Anything in the 4 hour is pretty massive if you think about it. So then after the high low was formed, we had a bullish engulfing candle followed by another bullish candle. All right, a very strong push to the upside there. So we could safely say that overall structure is bullish. All right, because for the past like what 8, 12 hours, the market was just pushing to the upside. We did have a bearish candle here. That is just a bearish counter trend the market is going to be making to maintain the bullish structure. So you need to have a counter trend or a higher low forming. So you need to have some degree of bearish momentum in the market forming a counter trend. Then we have to see a break of the counter trend and then a continuation of the overall bullish market structure when the high low is formed from that same counter trend. So that's why I said, even though we're seeing a bearish candle, don't like to worry about it or anything like that. The market just moving how it is supposed to move. All right. So what we again, very important. I said something very important just now. Actually, we need to track the bearish momentum of the counter trend. But before we reach there, let's just do like a general breakdown of the structure where we are, etc. Okay, very simple, quick, and easy. All right, nothing to take too long. So we are the area of support in 30-minute time frame. 30-minute zones are light blue. All right, price push to the upside, break above resistance, maintaining bullish structure. All right, we could kind of come along on the smaller time frames here now. Well, I still have some higher lows drawn out here from yesterday, but pretty much let me just emphasize the higher lows that I'm speaking about. That's all of this, all of that there. Area of support here on the 15-minute time frame. 15-minute zones are orange. Just pretty much gives me an idea of the strength of the areas. I give them a color based on the time frame. So we have an area of support that was formed, and what technically we had a higher low that was formed first. Price attempted to create a higher high, it did. Then it created a higher low. Well, it actually just retested the previous low, which was an area of support that was formed, which is why I drew the area. So support was maintained 1, 2, 3 times. Then we had a lower high that was formed, which kind of started the bearish counter trend here. So we had a lower high forming. Well, we had price failing to break below at first, it was initially a zone, and then we had a lower high that was formed here. Price broke below support, meaning we had a breakup structure. We're having a shift right now. Followed by the lower high. Then we have the break of support and then price pushing to the downside. All right, again, very normal behavior for price right now. So what we could expect, well, again, we just want to track the bearish momentum. I mean, we could already see that, sorry, that price is starting to reverse. But again, let's take our time and do this properly. All right, so we have lower high here, price push down, then we have another lower high. And then what do we have here? We have a higher low. So we can already see the shift starting to begin in the market. All right. Support. And now we go down on the smaller time frames now. So again, ideally, we just kind of tracking the bearish momentum. So we taking note of it. So we had a lower high here, we had another lower high here. Then we have price attempting to trade to the downside and create new lows following with the counter trend momentum, which is a bearish trend. Again, so the market will form lower highs and lower lows. I know I said I'm not gonna baby, but I just kind of have to sometimes. All right, so then we see where the lower high was created here. Price did not trade that low. Instead, it created a higher low. It was higher than this low down here, than the previous low. So we took note of that. And then when a higher low is being formed, that means some sort of support is also being formed, which is why I drew an area of support also, followed by another higher low, followed by, come on, a bullish engulfing candle. So we already starting to see these shifts happening on NAS and where we could start to identify potential entries in the market. Again, let me just use this to really show the structure here. So we had the lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. All right. Then we had a higher low. Then we had a break above this high, forming this high up here. I know I drew it pretty high, but it did break above here. All right, then we have another high low forming. So then what will we come what's gonna come after that? A new high and then another high low. And the market just gonna form bullish structure. So how are we gonna get into this trade? All right. So again, higher low form here, higher low was formed here. Price created a push to the upside. It retraced. It's the same thing that's going on, just on a smaller time frame on this little area right here, you know. So everything that we just kind of did here, which was the push to the upside on the high time frame, we track the bearish momentum, we identify where the bullish momentum is coming back into the market, and now we're starting to look for entries. That is quite literally what is going on in the same area right here. Push to the upside, retracement, track the bearish momentum, see where the bullish momentum is going to come back in, and how we're going to take advantage of entries on the smaller time frames again. So it kind of is like a puzzle. It's kind of just going in and in and in and in. But pretty much the entries that I was going to talk about was after we had the push to the upside here, and then we have the bearish counter trend, we have a bullish engulfing variation. All right, that's where we have a series of bullish candles strongly closing above previous bearish momentum. All right, so that would be like these three bullish candles right here. I would consider that a bullish variation because it closed above this. Oh, sorry. I had the line drawn, this little line here, because it closed above this bearish candle here, a strong close above. All right, then we had a smaller time frame higher low formed, and now we can see the bullish. So we could actually even go down more on the smaller time frames to really show how to really get into a move like this. Oh, I don't have that paid for. All right, so again, now we're on the 1 minute time frame. So this is where we're looking for entries pretty much. Again, so we're gonna like delete and clear up some of this stuff just to make it look a little clearer on this time frame, right? So we have the push to the upside. We have the lower highs. Let me use this lower high. 1 minute time frame, we use like gray. Pretty light, they hold much weight, you know, stuff like that. So we have the lower high that was formed here. Price attempted to break below. Retest of the previous high. Then what did we have? A higher low, right? Higher low formed instead. Price broke above, strong bullish momentum to the upside, breaking above this area here, retesting this area, and now what we have here? Some bullish candles, man. A series of bullish candles, a bullish variation. So you could take an opportunity here. Well, I know the market kind of pushing down right now. So let's kind of wait and see what's going on. But an example of an entry would precisely be exactly what we just spoke about here. All right, so we come down in the 1 minute. I mean, personally, I don't always enter on the 1 minute, but I was just gonna show like the puzzle and the puzzle concept that I was talking about. How we could just keep doing that same analysis, that same process, going in on smaller time frames, just trying to get from the higher time frame all the way down to the 1 minute to get an entry into the market. All right, so on the 5 minute, if you was well, again, sorry. On the 1 minute, if you were taking entries, it would be above, it would be right here. If this candle closes above this bearish candle, it's going to be right above here. We'll enter. Stop loss below here. And personally, you could go for a 1 to 2, which is 2 times the risk. So if you're risking 1% per trade, you would make 2% on this trade right here. All right, so that's pretty much a simple example on how to do top-down analysis from the higher time frames all the way to the 1 minute for entry. Again, I personally would enter on the 5 minute time frame because these candles hold more weight in my opinion. So what I would be waiting for on the 5 minute time frame would be, again, the same exact concept. Well, if I'm being completely honest, I would have probably entered already on the 5 minute time frame after the bullish variation that I spoke about. Stop loss is going to be below here. Same 1 to 2 concept. So this would have been the actual entry that I would have taken had I seen this a few minutes ago. Well, was I ready to even trade? I wasn't even thinking about trading, just doing the analysis for you guys. All right, but maybe on the next video, we could probably see some trade opportunities and potential entries live in the market. You see the market already starting to push up from from everything that we just said. All right, so take a note of the dates. You can check back on this on your own time, on your own chart, and see the results of it. And I'll see you guys next time. It was a really good first session. All right, guys. Have a good trading day.